First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
If your allergies are acting up, you're not alone. We are officially in spring, which means more sniffles and car washes as pollen fills the air. And this week, the problem might be getting even worse. With rain staying far away, we're expected to get extreme pollen in our area. It might be worthwhile to keep some tissues on hand like we have over here. This is First at 5. I'm Tortorelli.
And I'm Carle. While spring allergies might be pollen your patience thin, we're tracking what you need to know to prepare for the season. We're bringing you team coverage from the studio and in the field. We begin with UO forecaster Jadyn Bottini live in the weather studio, breaking down the pollen count for the next few days.
I know my pollen allergies have been horrible already this season, and unfortunately those high levels of pollen are going to continue. Today we saw some lower levels, but that's because we've gotten some scattered showers throughout the day that have washed away the pollen just a little bit, but for the rest of the week we're going to be high as we really don't see any more rain in our forecast. And of course we saw some scattered showers throughout the day today, most of the activity staying east of I-75, even off the East Coast, and our temperatures today have been pretty comfortable because we've gotten that cloud coverage, keeping us a little bit cooler than we have been seeing. 79 degrees in Gainesville, 82 in Ocala. And this evening, it's going to stay cloudy. We'll be at 75 degrees at 6 p.m., down to 70 degrees at 8 p.m. But what we're watching, some showers lingering into the evening tonight. We're also tracking some fog rolling in tonight into tomorrow morning, and end of the week as we heat up heading into the weekend.
Continuing your team coverage of extreme pollen, enjoying the spring flowers is tough when you have allergies. WUFT's Jasmine Oliphant continues her team coverage live in Gainesville. While pollen season is just beginning, she spoke with experts who say relief is possible.
Since the season for itchy and watery eyes to runny noses, the spring season is here and has affected many people in the Gainesville area, including myself. As I was stopping to get my allergy medicine, I ran into a father and son who are going through the same predicament as I am.
All right, we go close it. Good job. All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. There you go.
Swinging while enjoying quality time is what Willie Sanders and his son Ken love to do. The hindrance during their happy time is pollen.
You could tell kind of when pollen season about to come, because that's when he started getting stuffy nose and he started coughing a lot.
Allergy and immunology physician Dr. Jordan Heath with Simon Health Medical Clinic says the harder the weather, the more intense the pollen.
Your nasal steroid sprays are really going to be the one that hit hardest. The only qualm about nasal steroid sprays is they're really designed to be a daily type spray. So it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for a nasal steroid spray to get fully absorbed into your body.
The Asthma and Allergy Foundation reports in 2026, 106 million people in the U.S. experience allergy symptoms, including pollen.
The fact that they're going through it and suffering, as a parent, you kind of just want to, you wish you could kind of take that from them. All right, let's slow down.
Dr. Heath says in North Florida, we're in the start of tree pollen season, with grass pollen next. Then in the fall, you will see wheat pollen. Dr. Jordan says many people use nasal sprays the wrong way. Make sure you take your nasal spray, and as soon as you put it in your nose, make sure it points towards your eyes so you can flush out all those symptoms that pollen may cause through allergies. Live from Gainesville, Jasmine Oliphant, WUFT News.
There are several ways you can limit your exposure to pollen this allergy season and to keep your symptoms to a minimum. We've made a list for you to check out on WUFT.org.
2 dogs were surrendered to Alachua County Animal Resources. Police say the bulldogs may have contributed to the death of a 61-year-old woman in Alachua. WFT's Nicole Beltran is live at the animal shelter. Nicole, you learned what happens next for these dogs.
Ciara, the dogs are currently here at Animal Services and could be euthanized. An Alachua County spokesperson tells us the owner gave permission to keep the dogs here while the investigation is underway. Here's what we know so far. That incident happened back on March 19th at a home on Northwest County Road 235 just after 7 p.m. Police found the woman unresponsive and first responders pronounced her dead several minutes later. Investigators determined the woman was babysitting at a relative's home who owned the dogs. Now they found the woman had bite marks on her arm from the animals, but detectives will not say if the dogs caused her death until the autopsy is complete. County Communications Director Mark Sexton did give us these pictures of the dogs he describes as bullies and stopped short of calling them pit bulls. Now, we asked for a police report, but we were told we would not be receiving one as this is still an open investigation. As for that child, there were no injuries. Live at Alachua County Animal Services, I'm Nicole Beltran, WUFT News.
Today marks 39 years since the body of Diane Brazil was found in Gainesville, and police are still working to learn how she died. Brazil was reported missing in 1987 after she didn't show up to work at the TLC Learning Center. Her Firebird was found in a nearby parking lot. Nearly 20 days later, her body was found in a wooded area near Northeast Park. If you have any information that could help deputies finally solve this case, contact the Gainesville Police Department.
A new partnership could mean faster life-saving care for people in North Central Florida. This afternoon, HCA Florida Healthcare celebrated the launch of a new air transport service. It features a new helicopter dubbed a Flying ICU. The helicopter covers areas such as counties closer to the Gulf, which are not covered by the one currently located at HCA Florida Lake City Hospital. Dr. Amit Rawal says this service provides care, especially in places farther away from hospitals.
To have this resource who can transport a patient with the best speed to the hospital for definitive care and also have the best medical equipment, it really does make the difference between life and death.
HCA says the service also helps reduce long-term disabilities from traumatic injuries and other serious conditions.
In less than 30 minutes, Marion County School Board leaders will meet with parents and guardians to discuss rezoning North End elementary schools. Anthony, Ocala, Springs, Reddick, Collier, and Spar elementary schools could be all affected. The school board hopes the change will balance enrollment and reduce operating costs. Today's meeting at Reddick Collier Elementary is the second of 3 being held to discuss the proposed changes. It begins at 5:30.
Ahead at 5, Gainesville activists are preparing for what organizers are calling the largest protest in U.S. history. We spoke with community leaders about why this weekend's No Kings protest stands apart. Stick with us.
You're watching WUFT News.
No Kings protests are coming back to Gainesville for the 3rd time. Thousands of people are expected to face the heat and protest the Trump administration's policies. WFT reporter Juan Chaoui is live in the newsroom. JC, you spoke with a community leader about what this protest means for those involved.
Yeah, Ciara, I spoke with Donna Waller, the president of the local chapter of the League of Women Voters here in Gainesville. She said last year's event on October 18th was a political Mardi Gras. There were people in costumes, lots of music, and of course, lots of signs. She also says this one coming up will be bigger than the last. Most times of the year, Cora P. Robertson Park is enjoyed by people coming to take a stroll, enjoy a picnic, or play basketball. But this Saturday is the 3rd time members of the Gainesville community will take part in the nationwide No Kings protest.
The continued attack on voting rights and constitutional principles is making people feel that it's increasingly urgent for people to speak out.
Donna Waller is the president of the League. She was at the last No Kings protest in October, and she described it as
a whole lot of fun.
Waller says the League's purpose is to stay nonpartisan while tabling, educating about voter literature, and handing out gun locks with information on gun safety. She expects a bigger crowd this time around.
I would expect that we'll have at least a couple of thousand people out there.
But not everyone agrees with the protest's message. Some community members call it a waste of time, others call it senseless. I reached out to some of the commenters to get more details about their statements and any information about a counter-protest, but they haven't responded. Despite this, Waller says it's her duty to be out there.
I think it's important to emphasize that all these organizations see our principles as under serious attack right now.
Again, that's happening at Cora P. Robertson Park at noon on Saturday. National leaders of the No Kings Coalition are having a virtual meeting tomorrow morning to talk about what's going to happen on Saturday. That's happening at 10. In the newsroom, Juan Chaoui, WUFT News.
We've been tracking showers across the region, but how long will these clouds linger? I'll have the answer coming up next.
You're watching WUFT News.
Well, guys, with how my nose has been feeling, I'm surprised I haven't had to reach for a tissue that we showed you guys earlier yet.
Well, we have them here just in case. Jadyn, tell me when my nose and eyes will finally start to feel some relief.
Well, I have bad news for you. We felt a little bit of a relief today because we got some showers that washed it away, but we're not really seeing any more rain in our forecast for the rest of the week, so these pollen levels aren't going anywhere and they are staying high. But we've been cloudy and windy. Temperatures right now 79 degrees, but look at these skies. Really, the sun is nowhere to be seen. A little bit of blue sky peeking out there, but overall a cloudy day. We had a cloudy day yesterday, but tomorrow things will start to clear up and winds about 10 miles per hour right now. That humidity is sitting at 58%, and our temperatures have been nearing 80 degrees. We're at 79 in Gainesville, 80 in Bronson, 82 in Ocala, 81 in the Villages, and we're going to continue to warm up as those clouds roll out heading into tomorrow, and our dew points are in the lower 60s. We're at 63 in Gainesville, 62 in Ocala, 63 in the Villages. And remember, as these dew points creep up closer to our temperatures, that's when we feel muggier. That's when we get that higher humidity out there. And we're going to start to feel that heading into tomorrow. And of course, we've been seeing some gustier winds. Right now, we're at 15 miles per hour in Gainesville, 17 in Ocala, 16 in the Villages, and even in the 20s near Jacksonville, St. Augustine. Of course, a little bit gustier towards the coast. But tonight, these winds are going to die down and settle into tomorrow along with that sunshine coming out. But our lows heading into tomorrow, 60 degrees in Gainesville, 61 in Ocala, 61 in the Villages as well. We could see some dense fog throughout the area, kind of hugging that west coast near Dixie and Levy counties, and that wind in the morning only about 4 miles per hour. So be aware of this. If you're heading out early in the morning, you might run into some fog on your commute. But we're going to heat up tomorrow as well. 84 degrees in Gainesville, 85 in Ocala, 83 in Stark, 79 in Jacksonville. So a little bit warmer as those clouds clear. That sun comes out, we're going to heat up a little bit more. But of course, we are still monitoring our drought. We're still under extreme drought conditions across north central Florida, even exceptional along the I-10 corridor. But zooming out to look at the entirety of the state, South Florida is also seeing extreme drought conditions, and Central Florida is staying in that moderate to severe range. But we have gotten a little bit of rainfall, but not enough to saturate our soil, not enough to pull us out of this drought. And look at this rainfall data. We're about 2 inches below where we should be for the month. That's March 1st to today, March 25th. For the year, though, we're at about a 6-inch deficit. That's January 1st to today, March 25th. We are 6 inches below the amount of rainfall we should have been seeing. So not forecasting too much rain for the rest of the week. We've gotten some showers, but only a little bit of rain on the ground. That's why we are still monitoring our drought. Our temperatures, though, again, we're heating back up as that sun comes out. So tomorrow morning in the mid-60s, 65 in Gainesville around 7 a.m. And then heading into the afternoon, getting into the mid-80s, 85 in Gainesville, 82 in Ocala, creeping back down into the 60s once again heading into Friday morning, 61 in Gainesville and Ocala, and then heading into Friday afternoon again back up in the 80s and dipping back down as we head into the evening. Even some clouds rolling up along the I-75 corridor on Friday. And of course, we're monitoring those temperatures creep up. 84 degrees for our high on Thursday, 89 on Friday, 80 on Saturday. So what we can look for the next 7 days is those temperatures warm in the 80s until we hit the weekend, dipping back down into the 70s. But overall, sun is coming out and we are warming up.
Welcome to sports. I'm Tyler Brodie. The UF's women's rugby club team are nationals bound after claiming the state championship in the fall. WUFT's Natalia Lopez is live at Hume Park ahead of tonight's practice to learn how the team is tackling this type of competition.
Yes, thank you, Tyler. The team is set to arrive soon for their usual practice, but next month they will jet off to Maryland to travel for the National Rugby Championship out of 144 teams. I spoke with the team to learn more about how they're preparing. Rugby is growing in popularity, and the UF Women's Rugby Club team is a part of that growth. In a matter of weeks, they compete for the first time in the National Collegiate Rugby Tournament. They were one of the first teams to receive their bid. Head coach Carrie O'Malley says the team already has obstacles to face with an expanded team. The team has 45 active members, but can only travel with 15.
It's also a lot of pressure for us to kind of prepare everything in a short time and fundraise.
As the rugby team hopes to make an impact, the sport has also made a difference on them. Senior Anna Jennings played on the team since freshman year.
I feel like that's one of my favorite things about rugby is like you can be so like strong and still be like feminine.
Club president Mia Combe says the team is close, unlike anything else she's seen. Their eyes on nationals and excitement for the future.
Not only a great opportunity for our team to see what that level of competition is, because I feel like it's only up from here. You know, this year we qualified for nationals for the first time. You know, next year we're going to do it.
Not only is the team a family, but younger players say the mentorship is strong within this group. The team doesn't know what time they will compete or who their opponents are yet, but once we get that information, we'll bring it to you. Reporting live in Gainesville, Natalia Lopez, WUFT Sports.
Still ahead in sports, Gators softball took down the #1 team in the country over the weekend. Tonight, they'll look to extend a streak that is 2 decades long. We're live at KSP Stadium. And Florida baseball took on a state rival in Jacksonville. We'll tell you if they grabbed the season series win. That and more after the break.
You're watching WUFT News.
Welcome back. Third-ranked Gators softball finds themselves in high spirits after their first series win against former #1 Tennessee since 2019. In Gainesville for their midweek matchup, Luis Rodriguez-Combe is live at KSP ahead of their first game against Stetson this season.
Thank you, Tyler. As you can see, KCP is already getting started as the Gators fans are coming in to support this Gators softball team that is just sky high riding with a 31-2 record, just coming off a win against the #1 then team in the nation, the Tennessee Bolts, on Sunday. After that victory on Sunday, head coach Tim Walton just emphasized on how good this win was for the entire team, but also for Taylor Shoemaker and how she has been the offensive juggernaut for this offense.
You're seeing a really good player right in front of your eyes that knows how to play the game, is really special. And that's what I try to teach her, is that you're Taylor Shoemaker. You're as good of a hitter there is in the country, and I need you to act like that.
Riding on a 15-game hitting streak, Taylor Shoemaker was able to win SEC Player of the Week for the second time this season. That's why this is going to be a tough task for the Hatters that have not been able to beat the Gators since 2006. The Gators are riding high here in KCP, having a 17-0 record against Stetson, with first pitch set up for 6 p.m. Reporting live from Katie Seahold Presley Stadium, I'm Luis Rodriguez-Combe, WUFT Sports.
Staying on the mound, Florida baseball had a successful showing against FSU, claiming the season series. The Gators didn't quite throw a no-hitter, but they did hold the Noles to 0 runs on the day, shutting them out 5-0. The win was aided by some much-needed consistency from the bullpen. Russell Sandifer, Luke McNeely, and Jackson Barbary pitched 3 innings each, combining for 16 strikeouts. The win clinches the season series for Florida. Arkansas awaits the Gators next, their series starting Friday in Fayetteville. Moving to the high school ballpark, Gainesville High's softball team is sitting at .500 for the season. And one of the bright spots on the team is pitcher Liana Bordage. WUFT's Jelianys Ramos-Burgos has more on Bordage and the important role she plays on and off the field.
When I asked GHS junior softball pitcher Liana Bordage 3 words to describe her journey with the sport, thrilling was the one that stood out.
You get me on the mound, it's just a different zone that I'm in, and I look at the batter, I see where they're at, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get her on this pitch, and I do, because that's my mentality.
That mindset planted from a young age after being introduced to the sport.
I started playing whenever I was 6. I played rec ball kind of after my mom, because she played in college too. And I found a love for the sport. I kept playing.
Liana not only has full control on the mound, but also in the batter's box.
Good, Emma.
Cover it up.
But a nagging injury to start her high school career put her on the bench for majority of her sophomore season.
Going into my sophomore year is when I knew I had to get surgery. And that was a really big part for me because I had thoracic outlet. I had been struggling with pain for about 1.5 years.
The syndrome impacts the nerves between the neck and chest. The recovery took time away from the sport she loves. But Liana is back on the mound with one goal in mind.
Better than ever, fully refreshed and ready to start my junior season.
Liana's accomplishments helped her land a commitment to a D1 school, Texas A&M. This season, through 54.1 innings pitched, Liana struck out 102 batters and didn't allow a home run.
My pitching is going to be unlike ever before. I'm coming out with stronger mentality than before.
Reporting in Gainesville, Jelianys Ramos, WUFT Sports.
National championships for men's swim and dive began Wednesday, with opening trials starting bright and early this morning. In the 1650 free results, Gators Gio Linshear took the top speed after the Heat 3 with a time of 14 minutes and 38 seconds. Eric Brown followed, placing 7th and securing second-team All-American honors. The Gators didn't qualify in the 200 medley relay, but did finish 11th for the 800 free relay. Finals will take place at 6 this evening. And finally, Gainesville High School baseball is hosting Oak Hall tonight. The Hurricanes are coming off their biggest win of the season, 30-1, while the Eagles are coming off their worst loss, 18-1. First pitch is set for 6:30. We will take one more look at weather after the break.
We've had some cloudy and windy days, but tomorrow the sun will start coming out and we're going to be warm heading into the weekend, a high of 89 on Friday, and then we get a little relief from the heat in the 70s on Sunday.
Thank you, Jadyn. I look forward to the warm weather, and thank you for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
Have a great night, and remember to keep those tissues handy with you as we face the rest of pollen season.